parents know their kids, but I think that, where it can also go wrong is because parents don't really know the culture of social media now. Like, they're more into Facebook and stuff like that, but because a lot of parents really don't know how the things are. I mean, I'll give you an example. When Snapchat first came out, right? People were like, oh yeah, mom, it's innocent. Like, look, you have these funny filters and you just send these pictures to your friends and they disappear. Little did they know that the reason why Snapchat got so popular was because people were sending nudes on it and they would disappear and they wouldn't have to worry about the repercussions.
So nudes are naked pictures?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And they cannot be traced because they
disappear.
Isn't that something?
But then Snapchat came out with the feature to save videos and all this stuff.
Of somebody else?
Yeah, you could then save your videos. You could keep them for longer and stuff like that. So that's when parents kind of started figuring out, oh, what is this Snapchat? So I think that lack of knowledge from adults, like that general lack of knowing what the social media really consists of, also kind of it kind of hurts the situation, because it might not even be that parents don't want to have the conversation. They might just think like, oh, it's just Twitter, like they're just on there tweeting, and they just don't pay attention to it because they really don't know what that entails.
Right.
So, but guys, it is quite obvious that monitoring children on the internet or social media is a huge issue, and we're going to cover as much as we can this evening. But when we come back, let's talk more about why parents should or should not monitor social media activity and the warning signs that your child is possibly interacting on social media platforms that are inappropriate. Yeah. And I really, really, really want to hear more from you, Pastor C, you, Chief, and you, Thin Bad, on these topics. So we'll be right back.
All right.
You're listening to Straight No Chaser. We'll be right back.
Leave me alone.
When a child shares hurtful comments online, that's bullying. Visit erasebullying.ca to learn how to help your child stand up to cyberbullying.
Welcome to the Community Happy Hour, where we feature free events throughout the country. The summer concert series will continue every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the Largo Shopping Center in Largo, Maryland. The Las Vegas Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated invite the community to participate in the D-Free program's $1 billion debt reduction campaign. Go to www.billiondollarchallenge.com and register with the DST LVAC group as they seek to reduce the debt plaguing our communities. The Baltimore City Health Department is sponsoring the 2018 Grandparents Conference on Wednesday, September 12th at 8:30 a.m. at the Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. For more information, contact 410-396-1337. The Ferguson City Walk Concert Series will continue every second and fourth Friday through September 7th at 7 p.m. at the Plaza at 501 in Ferguson, Missouri. The gentlemen of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and the ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated are sponsoring the Bowling for Babies event in conjunction with the March of Dimes on Saturday, September 1st at 3 p.m. at the Texas Station Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. And the free concert series will continue every Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Levitt Pavilion in Los Angeles, California. So come on, everyone, raise your glass, and let's celebrate our wonderful communities.
Started at a party, everyone was there. She had a couple pills on a little dare, but now she's missing class and she's dropping her pom-poms. Nobody knows where she is, not even her mom. Everybody thought she was the all-American girl. So there goes the books, it's all about the score. There goes the doggy, life is such a bore. There goes the family, she's got a new friend. There goes the looks, this is the end. I guess she really was the all-American girl.
Pick up heroin and you'll throw away everything you love. Share your stories on Instagram with #heroin.
I hope you like your issues given to you straight, no chaser. So let's get back to your girl Ambeezy, Pastor C, and the Chief.
All right. We are back from break. So let's continue our conversation about parents monitoring their children on social media. Once again, let me remind listeners, you can reach us by chat on Spreaker, our platform, or at 702-425-7789. Now, social media is an amazing resource when used appropriately, but as we've seen on the news, there are times when it has caused or could have prevented great pain. I think about incidents such as like school shootings, teen suicides, and the reports that there was information on social media that may have warned everyone of cyberbullying, which left the child feeling like they were alone with no alternatives. So, Pastor C and Mr. Thinbag, what are some of the signs that your child is not using the web appropriately or may be in danger?
Thinbag, go ahead and answer that.
Some signs that they're not using. I'm trying to think of what would be. Usually, if I, based on the relationship that I have with my children, my daughters, if they are not willing to kind of engage me in conversation about what's going on in their life, you kind of have to pay. And I'm gonna leave social media for a second. Just when I was coming up, my father, when I would come home, because I used to live on the third floor, and I kind of was to myself. I was the only child. I was kind of to myself. And my father, when I would come home, he'd be sitting in the kitchen, and he's like, "So what's going on in your life, man?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And it was always at a pivotal point because something was going on. And he told me later, and like when he went, he said, he didn't go upstairs often, but he went up in my room when I wasn't there. He wasn't going through anything. He was just looking around the room. The bed wasn't made. It was closed, kind of everywhere. It was looking crazy, which wasn't the usual. And so that prompted him to ask me the question, like, what's going on in your life? Because with him, psychologically, my mind was as cluttered as my room was at that time. And he said, that clutter, what gave him the clue that something wasn't right. And I wasn't doing anything foul, but I was going through, issues with, girlfriends at the time, or had something, and that led to a whole deeper conversation that he was able to help me with. So in this back now to social media, if I'm not going to be the one, because of the fact, with the older one at least, I'm not the one who's going to, trolling down her site. But if there is something that someone else has seen or said, you might want to check this out, or where did you get this outfit from, or who is this cat that's near, and then I'll ask a question. Maybe I'll ask a question. So what's going on with your day to day? And if she's willing to engage, or if she's not willing to engage, then my antenna go up, because of the relationship that we have. Normally, my daughter will talk to me, sometimes about things that I wish she wouldn't talk to me about, but I can't, push it away. You kind of got to go through it, which is great. But on the one hand, you sometimes cringe, but on the other hand, you're like, well, I'm glad we've got this relationship where you can talk to me. But for me, one of the first signs would be an unwillingness to kind of indulge my questions about what's going on with them in the social media space, because there's so many things that are, you talked about Snapchat before the break, and part of the allure was, there's these disappearing. And I'm using air quotes with disappearing, because I know they're supposed to go, but let it be. Nothing is gone from the internet. Forever. I feel like, and that's what I've raised. That's what I've raised. My girls to see, like, what, if it's out there, it's out there. Yep. And you can't get it back. And that, I think, is part of what leads to the humiliation associated with some of the pictures that get out and things like that. I think are fast tracking some of the suicidal things, the embarrassment behind all of that stuff. So, I'm very clear, loud and clear about, don't put anything out there, because whatever you put out there, just be sure that it's something that you can live with, or you could stand coming back to you, or that when it gets to the point when you're older and you want a job, that this thing doesn't come back up. Because this stuff is out there. That's one of the issues. So, but again, the question was, what was the first, what was a warning sign for me is that if my child's not willing to engage or indulge me in a kind of a broad question about, so what's going on in social media, because if they'll talk to me, then I won't have to take your phone and look at it. But if they ain't talking to me, then they got to go to sleep, and I'll get the phone and I got passwords. No, but
that's right. Well, but right. Thin Bad, you bring up some great points, and it's just like before social media. If you're paying attention to your child, you should see some of those things. For example, if you notice that your child has become more withdrawn, or you notice that your child seems to be more aggressive, or they seem to be interested in things that have more of a sexual overtone, or just, like you said, there's behavior that I haven't seen before, and it's a little over the top, or it's a little more than we saw. She used to go up to her room, but now she's up there every day instead of just one day a week, or whatever you've noticed about your child. So I think it all boils down to, you have to pay attention to your family. Definitely. And each child is different from the other. So one may become more aggressive or more reclusive, and the other you may not ever know. So it's so important that you have to do the combo. You have to look, you have to listen, but also, like you said, Thin Bad, you have to go up there every once in a while and pull that device out and see what you see.
That's true. And I agree with that as well. I remember coming up, I don't know why she used to do it, but my mother used to sniff me. I walked past her, she'd grab me and sniff me and be like, okay, what you... It's like she knew.
Oh man, you going way back there.
I'm serious. And you know, I grew up in the church. I wasn't all the way in, but there was a sense of discernment that the older people had. They can look at you and say, okay, what's going on in your life? They'll snip you and say, yeah,